Welcome to Galcom's Mission Compass podcast. To learn more about Galcom and our guests today, visit galcom.org.
Nigeria has been elevated to the 7th worst country in the world for persecution against Christians.
Hello, friend. We're glad you're here today to join us on Galcom's Mission Compass, your guide to the Great Commission. I'm Ron Harris. What does it take to be a missionary today? Well, it may take someone just like you, with the unique skills and abilities God gave you to do your part in the Great Commission. And here's your host, Galcom's Tim Whitehead, to tell you more.
Well, thank you, Ron. Yes, I'm very excited about today's program. Stan Jeter, our very good friend from Global News Alliance, is going to drop in again, share with us what God is doing around the world. Tony Jones is going to finish his story, what's going on in Haiti. But before we get to anything else, Faye Whatford, communications team lead here at Galcom, has stopped by because she's got some special announcements. Faye, welcome to the Mission Compass.
Thanks, Tim. It's great to be here.
You know what? I don't think you've been on since you led a trip to Haiti, 5 years ago?
I've never been on the radio, Tim.
What?
No, I edit the audio and I work on it and I hear all the messages, what people have to say. It's super exciting, but I've never actually been on the radio with you.
Oh, I was certain that after you led a team of people down to share the gospel in Haiti, that we had you on to tell the story.
We had other people telling really exciting stories that time.
You know what? I think that it is fair. I think you kind of pushed this off so that the other people did come on.
Maybe, Tim.
So tell us what's going on here at Galcom that we want to share with everyone.
Okay, so super excited about this event that's coming up. We are doing our virtual banquet on November 4th. That's at 7 p.m. We are also going to be doing an in-person banquet, but we had such a great response over the pandemic of people saying, hey, we were never able to be a part of this before, and now we get to join in. So we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep doing it. We really want to connect with everybody, all of our partners across Canada and the U.S., and even around the world. We have people joining from South America, from Africa. It's too exciting to not keep doing it.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of fun. And friends, if you want to see what we did the last couple of years, go on YouTube, find our channel, Galcom International, and you can search there in our playlist. You can find the last two virtual banquets, and we did all sorts of crazy things. What do you have planned for us this year, Faye?
Well, we're kind of going on the same theme, just riffing off even a little more on that, and that is Galcom TV. So we are mounting our virtual TV station, and we're doing all sorts of different TV shows for it. So it's just a real fun way to sort of present the information we have to give people and just get them really excited about what we're doing. And we got to have fun with it. So, yes, there's been some interesting things going on. We have very interesting plans for that night along the line of some cheesy, fun TV shows, just different ways of doing that. And of course, Tim, you are our star, and it's going to be great. I'm super looking forward to it.
I mean, you're being pretty coy there, not sharing exactly what we're doing. So, but friends, if you want to get an idea, in past years, we've done a cooking show, we've done a news report, and on and on. So we got some funny little segments we want to do. Again, like you said, Faye, to share what God is doing through the ministry of Galcom.
Yeah.
Speaking of what God is doing through the ministry of Galcom, what is the best way for our listeners to keep in constant contact with us? I mean, we're only on here on the Mission Compass once a week, but we're doing a ton of work through Galcom. How do we let people know about it? How do they partner with us?
Right. Well, that's the thing we're really focused on. We just want to share what we're doing. We don't want to bother people for money and harass them. We're just hoping people hear what we're doing and get really excited and want to join with us in it. And that's always our goal here in communications. So there's a couple of ways we try to do that, try to communicate effectively with people. One is our print newsletter. So this is the newsletter where we have articles in it, just updating you on the latest things that's going on with Galcom. And the other part of the newsletter is our prayer calendar. So what that is a prayer request for every day of the week. And we are really hoping that you will get that prayer calendar and pray along with us. Just really get involved in supporting Galcom in prayer, supporting our ministry partners in prayer. And it's a great way to just keep you apprised of what's happening here. So we can send that to you in one of two ways. You can sign up for it on our website, and we can either send you a print copy. We hope you're going to post it on your fridge.
We'll even send you a magnet.
We'll even send you a magnet to hold it on your fridge. Yes. We'll send you a magnifying bookmark so you can read the print if it's too small for you. And then the other thing we can do, if you'd rather receive it in a digital form, is we can send it to you by email. And then you can print it off at your leisure or just refer to it whenever you want. So that's one way we communicate with people. The other way is through our social media. We have some great staff that are really heavily involved in producing those for you. So we also post our prayer request of the day on social media. And we do a few other posts too, just to keep you apprised of what's going on. Urgent prayer requests that come up, we'll put on social media, all of that. And we're really, really hoping that you will like and share all of our posts. It's really important. It is actually a very practical way that you can help Galcom by liking and sharing our posts, because then we can spread Galcom around. More people will hear of us. More people will get involved. So that's really important.
There you have it, friend. November 4th, virtual banquet. Visit our website, galcom.org, for all that information. And look for us. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Galcom International. Keep up with us. Sign up for our prayer calendar. Get praying with us. Thank you so much, Faye.
Stories can move us emotionally. They bring us into a world of joy and sadness. Stories help us ask how we would react if we were there. Galcom International presents Stories of the Great Commission.
The Trash Mountain, the family, they are from somewhere, they live around the Trash Mountain. They get up at night, they use a flashlight on their head. And at night, hundreds of flashlights on the Trash Mountain because they pick up the garbage at night. It's more cooler and more easier for them. So it's very sad to hear that, but we are blessed to be with them and to share them the love of God and give them something that we can give. So it's a blessing for them.
Discover the greatest challenge ever given to man, the Great Commission. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every living creature. Learn more at galcom.org, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Galcom International. Make waves.
Well, friend, it's time for us to catch up with Stan Jeter, founder, director of the Global News Alliance, to tell us what God is doing around the world. Stan, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing great, and it's always good to be with you, Tim, to talk about what God is doing around the world.
So tell us, first of all, before we get a report, tell us a little bit about the Global News Alliance.
Thanks, Tim. The Global News Alliance is essentially a news service for Christian broadcasters. That's how we started. We have connections with broadcasters around the world. We collect stories in video form, usually. We collect stories of what God is doing in the world. That could be evangelism, church planting, missionary work, the aid, Christian aid, or crisis relief. There's so much of that going on in places like Ukraine right now. And then we share these stories with broadcasters so they can put them in their broadcast program schedule and share what God is doing with their listeners, with their viewers.
So I've got a bit of an ulterior motive here, not just to share the story, but of course, we want friends to know that you can get involved in this too. So Stan, where's our story from this week?
This week, we're going to focus on the largest nation in Africa and a very disturbing trend that's happening in Nigeria. And that is the persecution of Christians. It's the violence that's taking place, not just against Christians, but Christians are a particular focus of the violence in Nigeria. Nigeria has been elevated to the 7th worst country in the world for persecution against Christians. That's the Open Doors World Watch list. And they say that it's persecution in Nigeria is brutally violent. In northern Nigeria, particularly, Christians live under constant threat of attacks by Boko Haram and Islamic State and Fulani militants and even criminals who kidnap people. Last year, I think it was, last year, 180 students were kidnapped from a Christian high school, Bethel Baptist High School in northern Nigeria. And there have been 3,348 kidnappings last year. So this is a serious situation, and we want to bring a quick report today that'll kind of update you on some of the persecution that's happening there. with the intent that believers around the world will pray for these dear believers in Nigeria who are suffering so much.
A new report highlights the alarming scale of rising violence in Nigeria as terrorists attempt to Islamize the nation. Much of that violence is directed against Christians. Release International has warned that Nigeria is fast becoming a persecution hotspot, and Open Doors estimate that more Christians are killed there than in any other country. Benjamin Kwashi is the Anglican Archbishop of Jos and a partner of Release International. He warns that terrorists are determined to turn Africa's most populous nation into an Islamist state.
Boko Haram has since joined forces with ISWAP, ISIS in West Africa. And they've teamed up. They have one goal: to Islamize Nigeria. So the first target is the church.
A new report by the International Organization for Peacebuilding and Social Justice warns the rise in Islamist extremism is threatening to destabilize the region. Archbishop Benjamin Kwashi says the violence has sharpened the focus of the church in Nigeria.
We are not giving up. We will not be defeated. Jesus is risen from the dead. And believe me, we have a gospel worth living for and a gospel worth proclaiming and dying for.
Andrew Boyd reporting for the Global News Alliance.
There's a powerful report on the bravery of Christians really standing up against persecution in northern Nigeria.
And I really appreciate this because we have such a large ministry in Nigeria in partnership with Voice of the Martyrs. They've asked us for 20,000 of our solar-powered audio Bibles to distribute to the whole Sahel region of Africa, the whole northwestern area. And a lot of them are going into the areas where these Islamist militant terrorists are, because we're not fighting them with guns and swords. We're fighting them with the truth of the gospel. So friends, be praying for our partners, for the Archbishop there, and for our partners at Voice of the Martyrs doing the ministry. And Stan, this is why the Global News Alliance is so important. This isn't going to hit the regular news.
That's right. And that's our call, to tell the other side of the story. A little slogan goes, it says, when God makes news, why doesn't it make the news?
Because we're not sharing it. So Stan, with 50 years of journalism experience, you're ready to equip our friends listening to be part of the Global News Alliance. How do they do that?
Pull out the cell phone in your pocket and get started. That smartphone is a powerful instrument for recording video. Just practically every modern smartphone has great video recording. And we can give you some tips on how to hold the camera, how to put a story together, how to shoot a news event. And you might say, well, I'm not close to persecution or some of those things. But there are stories of church work in difficult situations, helping the homeless, taking aid to those in crisis. Here in the States, we've had tremendous floods and fires and all kinds of things going on. And Christians are involved helping people in crisis, providing shelter, food, encouragement, all kinds of medical help. So you can document things like that, or simply an outreach of your church, maybe a missions outreach or youth outreach from your church. You can document it, and we can show you how. One of the quick tips is always hold your cell phone horizontally, because that's the shape of your TV screen, mm-hmm. and you want it to go on TV eventually, or the big screen in your church. So hold it horizontally and hold it steadily. Brace yourself. Maybe you can put it on a tripod, but brace yourself against a wall, or put your elbows on a car, or brace yourself and hold it steady. And think of, I don't have to show everything in one shot. You don't move it around constantly, panning left, panning right, zooming in, zooming out. No, hold it steadily and take a sequence of shots that you can later put together beautifully in an edit. That's how the pros do it. You want to do it like the pros.
And for that and other tips, where do people go to get the help?
Go to gna.news, and there you will find a tab that says Smartphone Reporters, and you've got a lot of suggestions, a lot of help. You can even download some tips cards from that site, gna.news.
Stan Jeter, GNA News. Friends, get involved. Join us in the Great Commission. Start telling the story of what God is doing. Stan, we'll catch up with you again soon.
You may be listening to us on your computer, but you can also find us on your smartphone using Spotify, iTunes, or other streaming platforms. Just go to galcom.org and choose your favorite. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and share our podcast.
Question: what does living with integrity even mean today? I'm Bonnie Sala with Reset. Millennial podcaster Rebecca Crespo offers 10 reasons why integrity is important in life, making the point that integrity is a great trait for a leader to have. She defines integrity as living your life according to your morals and values. Included in her list are reasons like you become reliable, you become confident, you become admirable and have a good reputation. But the Bible says there's an integrity that's gained by living up to a standard found outside of ourselves. It says, "The Lord has told you what is good, and this is what He requires of you, to do what is right, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." God's standards are explained in His book. Study this book of instruction continually, it says. Meditate on it day and night so you'll be able to align your behavior and attitudes with His standard. Crespo defines an integrity you can see on the outside that others observe. But the integrity found in the Bible is an integrity that goes deeper than the surface of our lives, down into the secret places. I will live a life of integrity in my own home. I will refuse to look at anything vile and vulgar, wrote David in the Psalms. Today, we might say, I will live a life of integrity on my own phone or laptop. Integrity is formed where no one knows what I'm doing anyway, and when no one is looking. I'm Bonnie Sala with Reset. To hear this again, read or share this, or to find more resources like this, visit guidelines.org.
Galcom International exists to equip missionaries and pastors around the world with tools to share the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Well, one of the things that Galcom has done, we wanted to put chronological Bible storying on a player. And so I can't raise some money, and I put the order in through Galcom to get the players, and then they put the 60 stories on, and then we've been taking them to different countries and blessing people that way.
Galcom International's solar-powered radios and audio Bibles help to evangelize families in third world countries.
I just got back from Kenya and gave out quite a few players to the churches and to some of the kids who are there to listen to these Bible stories. So that's how Galcom has helped me in getting these players to go to the different countries so kids hear the gospel.
Discover how you can be a part of the Great Commission through Galcom International. Learn more at galcom.org. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Visiting with my good friend Tony Jones here, missionary to Haiti, Grand Guave, Haiti. You said there's 7 regions in here. You're reaching out to 2 or 3 because of distance issues. You can't get there. And that's why we're talking here about radio. We want to help you get that radio station in so now you can reach this whole area every day in the local language, meeting the needs of people. But you have a really unique way of funding your ministry too. So you're doing the schools, you're doing the prison ministry, you're doing all sorts of wonderful things in the community. And one day, as we're talking about, just God brings up an opportunity, you just keep saying yes. You passed a lady carrying a couple of bags.
Yeah. So I'm drinking this Haitian coffee downtown, and the mountain people feed me coffee too, but that stuff was so strong, you literally pull your spoon out of it and it's corroded. I mean, it was brutal. But I'm drinking this delicious Haitian coffee, and I'm eating all the mountain people. We get the food from the mountain people. Whatever they grow, we eat, and we buy it from them. And one day it just happened, it happened to be coffee harvest season, which is late summer, early fall. And one of the women that go to one of our churches, she's got this coffee on donkeys, and I didn't recognize the bean. And I said, "What is this?" And she told me, "Oh, Brother Tony, that's coffee." And I didn't even know they grew coffee up in these mountains. I'm driving by it all the time, but I didn't know what the plant was. I just saw the red cherries. And so the Lord just put a hunch on me. I asked her if I could buy 3 pounds, and I sent it to a Christian roaster, and he roasted this coffee, and he couldn't believe how good it was. They call it a Haitian blue coffee. Next thing I know, he wants a container. So we've got to go and round up all these mountain people. Every little family grows coffee. We've got 20 donkeys, and we're hauling coffee off these mountains. And I started to export it back to Canada. And we roast it, and churches started to come aboard. They wanted to drink the coffee on a Sunday. Next thing you know, we're roasting coffee in Haiti. I'm bagging it in Haiti. And now we export coffee to the U.S. and Canada, and churches drink it. And I tell people we're winning souls 1 cup at a time. It has just been an awesome ministry.
There's a book that we often give to our mission teams. We go around the world, we build radio stations, we go house to house. I've done it a number of times in Haiti, going house to house, handing out radios, sharing the gospel. Before we go, there's a book that we often give to everyone to read. It's called When Helping Hurts. And so this is such a great model because we were talking earlier about some statistics about the amount of money, the millions, perhaps billions of dollars of aid that's gone to Haiti and not made a difference. What a great model of employing people.
Well, Tim, what struck me was about going to the mountains. The first thing I noticed is nobody begged. I never got asked for anything. If you're in town, you can't walk 10 feet without someone asking for something. And it's because we've been giving them handouts. I mean, there's 20 missions in town, and they can get anything from these missions. They just got to go up and beg. And so that's what they do. But in the mountains, there'd never been a missionary. So there was no begging. I couldn't understand that. And I got thinking, what am I going to do? And I said to myself, it's easy. I'm going to look at what everybody else is doing down in town, and I'm going to do opposite. And that's what I did. I started to buy the coffee off the families. And then we had churches that wanted to help support the work. So we bought the families' coffee plants, and for $1 American. And so when we went into a community, we would take the families, we'd give them coffee, they would grow it, I would buy it, and now they can afford to send their kids to school. They can afford to get clothes. It's just been a blessed ministry. And we share the gospel. And the beauty is that 10% of the mountain people's earnings, they tithe back to the church. And that keeps our mountain churches going. It's been an unbelievable work.
That is big deal. As I said, I've been to Haiti probably a good dozen times since 2011, and that is a big issue that the pastor can't afford to pastor because the church doesn't tithe, and that's a discipleship that you're training. What a wonderful thing. So if someone wants to support your work and they're a coffee drinker, how do they find your coffee? How do they just get involved in this small way in getting involved in missions?
Well, we have some of the distributors, which are basically families. They've been distributing my family. But in the U.S., sermonaudio.com they have just been a blessing. And they have pearlmountaincoffee.com. That's their website. In Canada, we have Mountain Jewel Coffee, where you can go online, mountainjewelcoffee.com, and you can see the website there, and you can purchase the coffee there also. But basically, our biggest supporter are churches. And what churches allow me to do is put it in their foyer, and I'll set up a coffee display. They usually have me come in and speak. And when I'm done, I guarantee you I'll sell 100 bags. And what they'll do is they'll put it in their foyer, and they'll sell the coffee to the brothers and sisters there. That seems to be the best way, because postage is very expensive. And so it's better that churches just take it on.
All right. So the coffee drinkers that are listening, you want to get this into your church to get supporting missions in Haiti. How do they get in touch with you, Tony, so they can get you into the church, telling the stories about how you're transforming this voodoo stronghold into a Jesus stronghold, and then funding it with this coffee? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, the best way, I'm not an IT guy or I've got a $50 flip phone. So the best way to get me is just Tony's new email 57 at gmail.com. Tony's new email 57 at gmail.com. And if you can get me there, then we can go from there.
And if you didn't get that down, or you end up spelling it wrong and it bounces back, contact me at Galcom. All the information is at the end of the program. We'll get you in touch with Tony, get you partnering with him in missions. But friend, the biggest message I want to pass on is every time Tony saw a need, he just simply said yes to the Lord. God provided, whether it was the schools, the prison ministry, the coffee. you can serve God too in the Great Commission. That's what this program is all about here on the Mission Compass. This is your guide to the Great Commission. Whether you come alongside Tony and serve, come alongside us at Galcom and serve, God wants you to serve. Share your love of Jesus, what Jesus has done in your life with others. Tony, great to catch up with you. We're looking forward for you to get back to Haiti. We're praying for your safety to get that station up and running.
Thank you so much, Tim, and everybody at Galcom. You guys have been such a blessing, and we're so excited to get this radio station going. Thank you so much.
Well, friend, we're at the end of our program today. You've been listening to Galcom's Mission Compass, your guide to the Great Commission. There are many ways to partner with us. To find out more, visit our website at galcom.org. That's Galcom, spelled GALCOM.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I'm Ron Harris. Thanks for joining us today on Mission Compass, a radio ministry of Galcom International.
If you enjoyed this podcast, we upload a new episode every Monday. You can also find us on the radio or other streaming platforms. We have a list on our website. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and share. And we want to know where you're listening from, so click Mission Compass on our website, tell us, and we'll send you Galcom's devotional, 30 Days of Faith.